yourself. Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 20, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 37. Get your exquisite, elegant box of French macarons from Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or order your box online at nicolettesmacarons.com. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope everyone had a good weekend. If you are in the Twin Cities area, I just wanted to say how nice it is to be in the 30s, like the 30-degree mark. Tomorrow, still going to be in the 30s. When we get a little bit later in the week, it's going to be in the 40s. And I think what I'm really excited about with all that is that yesterday I grilled for the first time in 2026. I mean, that is very rare for me to wait that long to get into it. But folks, as you know, it's been ridiculously cold. And the older I get, the less time I want to spend outside at all. So it's taken a while, but it was really nice, though I forgot a couple of things, but that's okay. We'll get through that. So I hope that you're enjoying this heat wave of sorts, because, you know, I just don't trust that we're going to have it for too long. Don't forget, we're still in February here. I'm really excited for tonight. You know, people might be lucky enough to be involved with one haunted location that is very unique. To be involved with two is pretty incredible, actually. And that's what we're going to be talking about here tonight, amongst other things, is that Ernie Pack, part of Packman Paranormal, the other half of Packman Paranormal is his wife, Denise. They own a place called the Ditto House Inn, 1841 in West Point, Kentucky, and just up the road from there is Fort Duffield, which is an earthen fort that was in service during the Civil War. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. I've had truly the honor of investigating both places, and really need to get back there sooner than later. And the thing about that is that there is so much stuff that's happening over at both locations, and we want to talk about that tonight. Sometimes it's nice just to talk about locations and talk about what's happening over there. Some you can get into, some may not be able to get into. We're going to talk about that as well tonight. And so I am very excited. And I haven't actually spoken to him in a while. So we're gonna spend the first 2 segments just catching up. No, we did kind of that already. But very happy to have Ernie Pack with me tonight. Ernie, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Well, thank you, Greg. It's good to be back again. Haven't been on for quite a while, but it's good to be back.
You know, it's funny because you and I really went into great pains to talk about how we're not going to give each other a rise during the show ourselves. It's going to be a very professional performance. And then here's your wife, minutes, not even minutes, seconds after the show starts in the comments. He's not the better half, though. You know, we got that working against us tonight. And I have a feeling that's just the beginning.
Yeah, she's a known heckler. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, she's but yet she's your biggest supporter, isn't she?
Exactly. Couldn't do anything without her.
And so it's and you know, I miss you both. We haven't seen each other in like you know, in person in a long time now. It's been a couple of years now, and you know, I just keep seeing everything that you and Denise are posting about both locations. And we were talking about like before the show, kind of talking about how we want to kind of approach tonight, because you have 2 really great locations. Let's just kind of start with one and then we'll work our way to the other. And folks, if you have questions about these places, put them in the comments and ask, because this is truly a unique place. And we've talked about it on the show a number of times, but the thing is that it never stops. I guess evolving, and perhaps is the word. There's always something there. And I got to say real fast, and Adam reminded me about this, because originally we are going to have you on last week, and we had to, not Ernie's fault, we had to pull out at the last second here. But Adam reminded me the last time you're on, like maybe about 3-4 minutes before the show started, the door behind you opened up.
Yeah, this one back here. And it's happened a few times on live while we're on with someone. And that door, the house was built in 1841.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's settled in places, and the doors don't stay closed in these older sections of the house. And so that one has a little bolt latch that you have to slide, kind of like what you'd have at a motel room or something. And it doesn't just, you know, pop open. But if that latch isn't latched, it will swing open because the door is not square. So, you know, it stays closed because it stays latched. So for it to come open while we're sitting here on a live, like what we're doing right now, someone has to slide that bolt back for it to open. So, right. You know, it's not just a random thing. It's an intelligent, I would go so far as to say poltergeist type thing. And it happens pretty often.
And I remember the first time that it happened on one of your lives, and you and Denise posted a video afterwards of the 2 of you trying to debunk it. Like, just like, this is, we're trying to recreate that moment, because as investigators as you are, you're also going to just see, is this something that could have been recreated, something that we missed or whatever else, and nothing you did could recreate that moment, right?
Right. Yeah. What we did was we demonstrated that, you know, unless it's latched, the door will swing open. But It was closed the whole time, just like it is right now. And then midway through the show, we were talking to Rick McCallum, and we started talking about his writing versus his ghost hunting, you know, what he preferred. And when I said ghost hunting, you see it looked like a figure went in front of the door, just a light anomaly of some kind, and then the door opened and a light anomaly shot into that room. So it was pretty cool.
And that's why we made sure that we featured it on Myth or Mystery that one time. Wait, we didn't.
Right. Yeah.
You should have asked. We would have.
I should have maybe sent you that video another 34 times.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's too late now, of course, but maybe at some point. But I mean, do you have that video somewhere? I mean, not to show right now, but for if people wanted to go see that.
I believe it's on our Facebook page for the house. We've got several different things on there as far as evidence and different. We've got a walkthrough of the house that Denise and I did that you can find in the reels on there. The Facebook page is the Real Ditto House Inn 1841.
Yeah.
And it's DITTO Ditto House. And go ahead.
I'm just going to say it's really worth folks to go and like the page, follow the page, along with Fort Duffield as well. And at the risk of, I don't want to get back on my soapbox again, but these are great examples of local haunts that we want to, we really want to make sure that we support in whatever way possible, because as great it is for people to want to buy a house on the East Coast, that there are all these wonderful hidden gems all around that we want to make sure that people know about. And if possible, if you're allowing people to visit, but also at the very least support it and share out some of the stuff as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. We did several private overnights at the house over the last couple of years. And to be honest, those got to be a little bit intrusive because Denise and I both work. We're real live people that have jobs and families and dogs and all of those things that we deal with. And to open our home up for investigations on the days that we were off work, and could be spending time together or doing family things, we were cleaning the house and getting it ready for guests and entertaining guests. And then when they leave, we got to clean it up again for the next group of guests. So it got to be a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit overwhelming. And so we have backed off on doing the private overnights here at the house.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of special things coming up this year that we're doing that have already been planned. They were in the works before we just made the decision to cut off the private overnights for now. One of the things that we got going on that I did want to talk about tonight is a fundraiser that we've got going on where we're auctioning off a night here at the house. That'll be the same kind of experience that you get with a regular private overnight, which typically runs $500 for up to 10 people. Right now, the bidding on it, we're auctioning off a night, and the bidding is up to $400 right now.
Nice.
And we're taking bids in $50 increments. So if anybody's interested, it would be a $450 bid to get your name at the top of the list for right now. And all of the money, every penny of it, will go to help Tim Cummer, who is a good friend of many of us in this community. Most, if not many, if not most, at least many. But Tim has been very supportive of anybody that is going through something over the years. He's volunteered to offer his talent, I guess you'd say, at public investigations and things like that to help people with other fundraisers and stuff. And he's done a lot for the community. Yep. He's a good guy, a good friend of ours, and he had a stroke a couple of weeks ago on his birthday, actually. And he's in rehab right now, still going through a lot of difficulties with it. He's a fighter. I mean, he's getting better. I mean, you can see the progress, but it's going to be a long road. And so we're going to auction off this night at the house and raise as much money for him as we can.
And everything's expensive. I mean, just to even, take his temperature is more than I probably make a year, and I'm not trying to be silly about it, but I mean, the cost of this stuff is ridiculous. And this is why, Ernie and Denise are doing this because we're a community. We're trying to help each other out. And like you said, Tim has helped out many people over the course. And it's one of those things, if you haven't heard of him, and my guess is probably a lot of people in the Minnesota market who are listening right now may probably have not heard of a lot of us out there, to be fair, but it's the idea that he puts back into the paranormal community. He doesn't just take, he gives, and I don't think he even takes, to be perfectly honest.
Right. No, he helps us with our events at Fort Duffield from time to time. He never takes a penny, not even travel money. And he comes down from Indianapolis. We're in West Point, Kentucky, so he's 2.5 hours away. And he comes down, volunteers his time, and helps us out. And of course, all the money we raise there goes into Fort Duffield. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize about the paranormal community in general, is most of us are historical preservationists as much as we are ghost hunters. And all of these events that people gripe about ticket prices and complain about things for, that money is not going in people's pockets. None of us in this community are getting rich, save maybe a handful of people who have made themselves TikTok famous or YouTube famous or whatever and are getting paid that way. But the rest of us are just out here doing it because we enjoy it and because we want to give back to the community.
Absolutely. Because when you're saying all the things that you are, historic, a historic researcher and all this stuff, the one thing that you didn't say was poor. Because it is the big part of it.
That goes unspoken. I mean, that's a given.
Well, it needs to be spoken though, because I don't think people, as you said, I don't think people really understand that. Because from the outside, I think people look at the paranormal field as it's kind of hopping. There's a lot of events, a lot of things going on. But what people I don't think really see, and that's why we have to tell them, is the amount of what people are sacrificing, even just to get their own locations to be seen by people. And I know you don't listen to my show because you're you, but the thing is,
it comes on when I should be asleep.
but the thing is, it's like I've been talking about these other things that are celebrity led, and so be it, whatever. But it's always like, please don't forget about these local places, because if we do forget about them, they will close up. And Denise puts into the comments, we put more money into this than we've ever made, even with sold out events. And that's the thing that people have to understand. And people might be like, well, then why do you do it? But why do you do it then, Ernie?
Well, I do it. I enjoy it. I mean, I do enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy interacting with the other side, be that people or cryptids or whatever. We investigate a little bit of everything. I enjoy that part of it. I learn from it. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I like showing or giving people an experience that they might never have dreamt they'd ever have in their life. I think you had a pretty good experience at Fort Duffield with a forest person for the first time. So
yeah, absolutely. But also it started at Ditto House.
Yeah. We had a lot going on here.
And the thing is, it's like I think that you are so proud of the places that you want to let other people experience them. And that doesn't mean, it's not a model of like, well, how much we made. I mean, I can't tell you how many people that I have worked with in the paranormal that own locations that, they're barely getting by or not getting by. But like you said earlier, none of them are, have a pool of coins that they jump into every day. I mean, it's
no. They don't lay down on a bed covered with $100 bills and throw it in the air.
Right.
No, that would be great.
It would be great. And you guys have something that most places don't have. The Ditto House has the legendary donut stealer ghost. And that's something that we can talk about here. But Ernie, I do need to get a break in here right now. When we come back, let's talk more about the Ditto House. Let's talk about just other things that are going on. People, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We have a lot to get to. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures, perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Step beyond the veil with a paranormal investigation in historic Anoka at Divine Lights. Join experienced investigators Char Savoy and me, Greg Bakun, for a 3-hour guided exploration using real paranormal tools and intuitive techniques. This isn't about chasing shadows. We listen, we connect, and we explore with respect. Space is limited, and each night is truly personal. Join us on Thursday, February 12th. Get tickets now, find Charvinity on Facebook, and click events. And remember, haunt local. And that's this week. Come and join us at Divine Lights in Anoka as we, meaning Char Savoy and myself, are going to do a public paranormal investigation of the basement of Divine Lights in Anoka. And as I keep saying, folks, every single time we go there, the activity gets heightened a little bit more. When we started back in July of last year, it was a little bit, but every time we go there, I think that's one of the things that you find in some locations. Doesn't mean that there weren't spirits there. It just means that they're getting more acclimated to us, more used to us, our style of communicating with them. It's a lot of fun. It's from 6 to 9 this Thursday at Divine Lights. Go to charvinity.com, look up events and classes, and right there, you're going to be able to get tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to see you out there. Tonight, I am very excited. We have Ernie Pack from Packman Paranormal talking about the historic Ditto House Inn, 1841, as well as Fort Duffield. And just, Ernie, real fast, just to kind of summarize what we talked about in the last segment, there isn't going to be anything new offered at the Ditto House at this moment for people to have overnights or anything apart from stuff that's already been scheduled, but you do have the opportunity to bid on an overnight that the proceeds of that overnight, they go to benefit Tim Kummer, who is a great paranormal investigator, a friend to many of us here, who suffered a stroke a couple weeks back, going through recovery. It's a nice way to have the opportunity to go see a wonderfully historic and haunted location, as well as being able to help someone who is in need right now. Do I have that correct?
Well, you're close. You're real close.
What am I missing?
Well, like Denise mentioned in the comments earlier, we do plan on opening up a little event that we're going to call Snacks with the Packs.
Okay.
Where you can, it's going to be a ticketed event. We might do a few of these depending on how the first one goes. Where for, I don't know, say I don't know. We haven't even discussed a price yet, but it'll be reasonable.
$3,000
for the low cost of $3,000. No, we're not certain what we're going to charge just yet. We've talked about it a few times, but it's going to be like from 7 to midnight, where you come over. We'll maybe order pizza, something like that, and kind of hang out, give you a tour of the house, and then give you a couple hours to set some equipment up and do some investigating if you'd like. But it'd be a public event, so it won't be like a real investigation, but it will be. You'll be in Kentucky's most haunted house where things happen all the time, and you'll get to hang out with me, and so that's pretty cool.
I was going to ask if you're going to be there, and I got the answer, so that helps me knowing whether I want to go or not. But it's going to be it's nice, and that's the thing. I mean, it's this area. First of all, let's just talk about the area itself in a sense, because all of West Point, there's something special going on there as well, right? I mean, that whole thing is. I mean, you took us around. It's very historic. But there is a vibe to it, and even the house there. I mean, there's other houses on the property that I know that you would love to be able just to get in, just to kind of see what was going on in some of those locations as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The whole town. Well, Haunted Discoveries came to film at our house, and we know Brandon and Mustafa and Kevin and Craig and the whole team with the Haunted Discoveries show. Yep. They came down here to film at our house. What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No, I'm just giving them a little shout out, I guess. But we're familiar with them, and we had talked to them about coming to film at the house. They came, they filmed here, wound up filming at Fort Duffield, and at 2 other locations here in town. And there were several others that they were interested in getting into that they just couldn't get into or couldn't work into the schedule. The town sits at the confluence of the Salt River and the Ohio River. There is a limestone quarry in the hill over here. So you got limestone, you've got caves, you've got the running water. We've got 2 railroad tracks that intersect right here in the middle of town, a north-south track and an east-west track. So you got a big X right in the middle of town with that unending conduit there.
Yep.
There's just so much going on here. And for some of your listeners, they may have heard of the Kentucky anomaly, which is something that's actually studied by NASA and scientists and physicists everywhere, where there's an or geomagnetic, I guess, field here in Kentucky that doesn't behave like it does anywhere else in the world. And a lot of people think that contributes to some of the paranormal activity that's reported here in Kentucky. So, we're kind of sitting right in the middle of all of that.
And to make matters even more interesting, all of you are basically butted up to Fort Knox as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Fort Knox is, it is a mile from my house in 3 different directions, because it kind of surrounds the town here.
Yeah.
The town's bordered by rivers on one side and Fort Knox on the other side.
And I have to say, probably one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen, honestly, is your backyard with the river.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I could sit out there all day, every day, and just watch the water flow by and the eagles fly and dive down and snatch a fish out of the water. All those good things that you can't replace that stuff.
No, but it was kind of scary. Was it last year that you had all those floods that were coming up, encroaching upon the house and stuff?
Yeah. Once the spring thaw hits up north of us, upriver of us, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and all that water collects down the Ohio and into West Point, basically. And we got, it was, I believe, last April, we got water up. It was up in the crawl space under the house. And around one side of the house, about halfway up the side of the house. We were lucky, though. We're on the high part of town.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get water in the house. We didn't have to evacuate or anything like that. We were worried about it. We were watching it every day. but there were a lot of folks who lost everything. I mean, there were houses that were completely underwater. I mean, the river was over their roof.
And you raise an interesting point. I never really thought about it, but I feel like just from the one time I spent there, it does feel like it could be like at the bottom of a sink or something. West Point.
Yeah, it's kind of in a basin. I mean, it's you've got the hill. I mean, you got the river on one side, and then the hill where Fort Duffield is, and Muldraw Hill that borders the Fort Knox property, just kind of wraps around everything that's not river. So it's just a big basin there to collect water, and it happens. We have floods here every 5 or 6 years, I guess, in this town.
Oh gosh, well, hopefully you don't see that again, or the whole town doesn't see that again in a while. I mean, because it's everyone, right? And it's a community. Ditto House. What has anything happened recently that? And this is a tall order because there's a lot that's happened there since you moved in that you all have talked about that kind of like blew you away, because there's so many incredible things. Has there been anything recently since you've last been on the program that you thought, holy cow, this is something?
Well, there's something that Denise and I have started doing, and it didn't start at the house. It started, we were in the car and coming home from dinner one night, and there's a few songs on the radio that her and I will sing along together. And some of them are duets where she'll have a part and I'll have a part. And it's just our thing, you know, as a couple, it's something that we do. And one night we were going down the road, and every time Denise's part would come on, we would hear a woman's voice, like almost a whisper, in the back seat singing along with her part. And, you know, we stopped, we listened, and she would even stop singing sometimes, and you would hear the voice start to sing, and then when it realized she wasn't singing, they would stop. So we thought we'd try to carry that on into the house. And so we're doing a little experiment now where every night, unless we're sick or preoccupied or whatever, every night we try to sit here in the house and we'll sing some of those songs, and they've started to sing along with us here in the house. And we've, you know, you can audibly hear it. Haven't been able to catch it on the recorder yet, because it seems like if we set the recorder in one room, then you'll hear the voice from downstairs, or we set it in, you know, it's like they're never where we have the recorder. But we're just experimenting with that, where we're doing it more and more and more, and making it a routine out of it. Like you were saying during the commercial, or when you were talking about your event with Shar, the more familiar the spirits become with you at that location, the more activity you're getting. And it's the same kind of thing we're getting here at the house. You know, I mean, we live here, and they're getting more familiar with us. So we're getting them to interact more and in different ways by encouraging them to.
What kind of music are you all singing?
Well, one of the songs is Whiskey Lullaby by Brad Paisley and Alison Krauss. And the other one is Picture by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
Almost forgot her name. But yeah, I mean, we you know, it's just something that Denise and I do when it's just the two of us in the car. And like I say, we picked up on people singing along with her parts. And so we tried it with different songs. And
you mentioned the recording, like trying to record, but at the same time, you and Denise aren't super big into documenting like that anyway, right? You're more in the moment, right?
Exactly. I mean, I tell people all the time, I would take experiences over evidence any day of the week, because, you know, with AI and Photoshop and all of the things that are out there, you can have the best piece of evidence that, you know, the source of it, you know, it's completely legit, 100% authentic, and you'll never convince anybody that doesn't want to believe anyway.
No.
So what I would rather do is take someone who is open to experiencing this stuff and give them that experience themselves.
Yeah.
But we're trying to document it for ourselves, so that we know we're not crazy, or we don't just have a speaker, in the car that's bad, or what. I mean, we try to debunk, and we try to figure out what other causes that might be. And so that was part of it, was just trying to record it and see if we could catch it on a recording. And we'll keep trying, but if we don't, we don't care.
Right. Now in the comments, Denise says sometimes the rooms get foggy when we're singing. We might want to bring her on since she tells the whole story. Apparently you're leaving out tons of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is true. You'll be looking at, like, what we call the ladies' room. We'll sit out there in that little settee that's outside the ladies' room sometimes when we do this, and you can look into the ladies' room and see clearly across to the fireplace back there. And then there's just like a mist that appears in the room, and it happens. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
And then Denise also says, because apparently you don't want to tell the whole story. We did have Todd and Leanne, which is your non-blood brother and sister, basically.
Yes.
Todd and Leanne listen on the phone one night. That's cool. That's really neat.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something special to have that sort of activity and whatnot. And I think that's super cool to do that. And that's the thing about this place is, and I've been able to experience the hauntings of this house firsthand, and you don't have to try hard at all to get some kind of interaction in the house.
No, some of the best activity that we've had has been when we're just sitting around talking with people, sitting around the dinner table, sitting around in the parlor, and have a fairy fly up in your face. I mean, come on.
Sitting at the George Washington couch, and
yes, right after Shar broke the Benjamin Franklin chair.
I'm sure she loved to be reminded of that, especially on radio. Well, maybe next time you and Denise can buy some furniture that can support the weight of like a pillow, for God's sake.
Yeah,
there's that as well.
It's old.
Yes, it is. It really is. Now, before we head off to break here, and when we come back, I want to talk about Fort Duffield. Before we head off to break, the one thing I don't think we really talked about here is how can people put in bids for an opportunity to have an overnight for that benefits Tim?
It's not an overnight at the fort. It's at the house. It's
wait, what did you say?
The overnight is here at the house. It's not at the fort.
No, I said when we come back, we'll talk about Fort Duffield. But
okay, I'm sorry, I got confused, I guess.
Denise,
or maybe you misspoke. I mean, that would never happen because you're a professional. Yeah. But no, they would contact me. You can find me on Facebook, Ernie Pack, just like it reads, ERNIEPACK. Or you can go to our Packman Paranormal pages. You could go to the Real Ditto House Inn 1841. There are posts that tell you how to bid there. You text me at my personal phone number, which, I mean, I could give it out. I'm not afraid to. It's on social media, so I don't care. But it's 502-376-7240, and just send me a text and let me know you'd like to bid, and I'll get you down.
Folks, that's a sign that someone wants to really help someone in need if you're giving out your phone number over the air like that. And you're not going to be disappointed. We'll talk about that. I need to take a break here. When we come back, Ernie, we're going to be talking about Fort Duffield, and because we haven't really got to that, but there's a lot to talk about there as well. And if anyone has any questions, please put that in the comments. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to bring back author C.L. Thomas. Last time that we were trying to have her on, something happened here. We couldn't get her on the air, and that's not her fault. There was something going on over here. We're going to have her on tomorrow talking about more of Haunted Las Vegas. She knows the place. She knows all the great locations. And the last time we had her on went over very well. So we're going to do it again. C.L. Thomas tomorrow is joining us for Haunted Las Vegas Part 2. We are talking with Ernie Pack of Packman Paranormal. We've been talking about the Ditto House. We're going to be switching gears over to Fort Duffield. But first, Ernie, in the comments, contagious smile. My goodness, huh? Look at that smile, huh?
Look at it.
Yeah, that's not, to me, it doesn't seem contagious, but whatever, right? I mean,
well, I mean,
look,
I don't know.
You just light up. You're just lighting up like I don't know, something that lights up. I don't know.
Yeah, something with lights on it.
It's pretty much it. Let me know if you need me to be more, more savvy with my words. I think I got my point across pretty well.
That was pretty clever. Great.
Pretty good stuff. Yeah. So, okay. Well, just keep smiling. If maybe these smiles will get more people to bid on the overnight at the Ditto House.
Yeah. I learned it from politicians.
Right. Exactly. Folks, you're going to have a great time. Please vote. Please bid on it. Just don't leave food. Don't bring food in. Don't think of food because it will get stolen.
That is part of the paranormal activity that occurs here.
Right, exactly. I mean, especially stuff
that donuts.
Ooh, how about this? Denise says, your loving wife says, maybe I need to auction Ernie off.
Wow.
Now you know where you stand. I mean, I think you know where
I know how she is.
We don't have a ton of time left. We have about 12 minutes or so. Let's talk about Duffield, Fort Duffield, Earthen Fort. What is it, about 6 to 8 blocks from where you live?
Yeah, if that. I mean, it's a 5-minute drive from here. It's right across the highway from the house. It's up on top of the tallest peak in the area, at the peak of it, and very difficult to get to typically. It was an impenetrable fort. The Confederates found out when they thought about maybe attacking it, and it never really saw action because of that.
Yeah.
But it was very crucial. General Sherman had it built in 1861 to protect the supply lines that ran through town here. Like I told you, we had two rivers that they come together right here in town. You had the Louisville and Nashville Turnpike, which was the major north-south highway in this part of the country back at that time. That came right through town. Ferry crossings, all of those things that were crucial for getting supplies to the south from the north. And so we had the fort built up there, and it never saw action. But in the 6 months that it was manned by the Union, there were 48 known deaths. We think the number might be a little bit higher than that. Could be as many as 60 or 63, something like that. But we know that there were 48 young men that died up there of disease or accidents, things of that nature. And so we started doing paranormal investigations up there, and one of the first groups that came up there to do a private overnight had a Bigfoot encounter. They saw one walk all the way across through the moonlight from one side of the grassy area all the way across to the other side. And so it was not just like a quick blip or anything. They watched it for about 2 minutes, and I happened to be there with them, and I saw it too. And so we thought, well, hey, we've got Bigfoot up here too. So we started working on that a little bit more, trying to investigate that. Good friend of ours, Greg Yost, Squatch Man, who is the Squatch Whisperer, if you ask me. I mean, the guy can walk out in the woods and talk to them and get them to interact with him.
True.
He doesn't beat on trees and howl and all those things, but we have him come up there with us. And we've had a lot of activity. So we started hosting events up there that we call Spirits, Squatches, and Stories Around the Campfire. They're public events that we do about 5 times a year. We've got one coming up in March, on March 21st. Tickets are on sale for that right now. You could go to extremeticketing.com/Packman and get your tickets for that. And like I said, we'll be doing those 5 or 6 times a year. And all the proceeds from that go directly into the Friends of Fort Duffield, which the fort is it is a city park, but it doesn't receive federal funding, doesn't receive state funding, doesn't really receive city funding. All of the funds that keep the park maintained and preserved and updated and all of those things come from either private donations or the events we have up at the fort, things like that. And just as an example of how quickly that money can go, we had bought some lumber. I'm on the board for the Friends of Fort Duffield, and we had bought some lumber to do some reconstruction work on a simulated cannon emplacement that we had up there. We had about $380 worth of lumber sitting up there, waiting for the weather to be right to do the work, and the lumber disappeared.
Yeah.
So that's $380 that we raised through donations and events and, any contributions that we could get from town or whatever, that's gone. And so these events that we do up there are kind of critical to keeping the grass cut, keeping signs up, and all of the things that are needed to have a park.
Yeah. No. Once again, people think other people are taking care of it, but that's not the case.
Well, I mean, other people are taking care of it, but there's still money involved. That's
what I mean. There's someone else is coming out of, doing some other pockets of money, and that it's going to be
there's this
funded in some way.
Mystery fund of money that you can just pull from and do everything. No, it doesn't work.
So, when you're talking about that first encounter with Bigfoot, are you talking about us or another one? Because I knew that we were pretty close to the beginning of all that, but I didn't know if you had someone else that you had seen. Because my memory is kind of a little foggy on that.
You guys were here just a couple of weeks after that encounter. That was Keith Paranormal that was up there that had that happen. And It was just a couple weeks later when you guys came and we had a very similar situation happen. It didn't last quite as long as what happened with Keith Paranormal, but it was closer and more clear. I mean, you could see the moonlight shining off of the hair on the one that you and Shar and myself and Denise saw.
Yeah. Did do you think that it could have been the same?
I think it very well could have been. I mean, it acted very much the same. It just stood there and looked at us. The one that had walked across the fort grounds with Keith Paranormal up there. I mean, it paused at one time, got about midway across through the opening, and just kind of paused and turned and looked at us like, "I see you over there," and then kept walking on down over the hill. And I mean, it was just fascinating. People ask, why didn't you take a picture? Well, I was watching it. I was looking. I was taking a picture with my eyes and just enjoying the moment.
It never crossed my mind.
No,
it never crossed my mind. And the thing also about that is I don't know if we really, I mean, we kind of touched on it, is the exertion of energy in that area. When that, I mean, it was starting to get to almost like fever pitched with energy in different ways, like the tree nearby and stuff like that. Like it was like something was priming itself to happen. I did not expect that to happen. But it was really just, it wasn't just like we were sitting there and some entity walks out and just moves around. I mean, there were things that were happening that were leading up to this moment.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something I've found, and you probably found it too with the events that you do in your investigations. You can feel when something epic like that is going to happen, there's an amping up that it builds to that point.
It does. It really does. Now we have about just about 4.5 minutes before we're done here. You have these events that you have Greg Yost out, and I've had the absolute pleasure of being in such situations where I was able to see his interaction with these forest friends. And what's happened lately out there that has just been kind of like, really cool?
Well, we haven't had a public event since October. That was our last public event.
Because you're going into winter, right?
Yeah. We don't get out there when it's cold like this. But we had one night, we were sitting around the campfire, and this was, I think this might have been our August or September event. Or, well, Denise might be correcting me. Maybe it was the last one. Maybe it was in October. But everybody was just sitting around the campfire, and it was like 1:20. Those events end at 2:00 in the morning, or it was 2:20, and the event ended at 3. I forget the exact time on it. But anyway, we were down to like 40 minutes before the event was going to end. And Squatch Man said, he's got one particular friend out there that he calls Big Red because it's got red eyes.
That's right.
And he said, "Big Red, are you going to push a tree over for us tonight before we all leave?" And we had a yes/no box going. And the yes/no box said yes as soon as he said that. It hadn't gone off the whole time. It was just sitting there on the bench and hadn't said yes, no, anything the whole night. Well, when Greg asked that, it said yes. And we all laughed. And Denise made a smart aleck comment like she does. She said, "Well, you're running out of time. If you're going to do anything, you better do it." And Squatch Man said, "Well, you heard the lady." And about that time, we all hear, boom. A tree falls right in the area where we always go up there to try to see the eye shine or see some movement or something. It was right there where if we'd all been standing there, we would have seen it happen. But we were sitting around the campfire, and we heard it clearly because it wasn't but 100 yards from where we were sitting.
And you know what a tree sounds like when it falls. I mean,
There's no denying it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to be fair, trees fall in the forest all the time, right? I mean, you walk through the forest, you see trees down. That's not a mystery. But what are the odds that it's going to happen at the exact moment that you ask for it to happen?
And we can't get into the whole story here, but that's not the first time that has happened. When Greg, I mean, there's that time with Connie, right?
Yeah. And well, that time with Denise, myself, and Denise's daughter Cora, we had 7 trees fall on command.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. That is, I mean, that is really cool. As we are running out of time, and we could be going on for a lot longer talking about all these things, and we want to get you back for it. But I do want to remind folks once again, this next event over at Duffield is what date again?
March 21st.
March 21st. I have it up on the screen to get tickets. extremeticketing.com/Packman. Please go there and to put in a bid for Tim Kummer for to help him and get an overnight over at the Ditto House. Just go to the Ditto House Facebook page or contact Ernie. Put in a bid. It's a $50 increment. And once again, what is the Facebook page for the Ditto House, Ernie?
It is called the Real Ditto House Inn, 1841.
That's great. Please, folks. Please, I mean, you know, you might think it's a lot of money, but trust me, it's worth it, and it's helping somebody. And real fast, can people pick the date for the overnight?
Well, we'll work it out between them and us, you know, because we'll have to work it around our work schedules, of course.
Right, but what I'm getting to, could they do the overnight and then be able to do the Duffield?
We've had several people that have done the double like that. They've tried to plan their overnights on a weekend where if they're traveling here, they can hit Fort Duffield and the house in the same weekend. And we even try to coordinate with the Bell Witch Cave down in Adams.
I gotta go. We'll be back tomorrow, everyone. Take care. Have a good night.